Welcome to The Grow Show, where we speak with leading business experts to help you grow yourself, grow your business, and grow your community. Now, here's your host, Gary Jones.
Hey folks, how you doing? Now, welcome to this very special episode of The Grow Show, where you get another exclusive sneak peek at Grow Live. If you don't know what Grow Live is, check out the show notes. It's our annual event where we get guest speakers from previous shows to talk about different bits that they're really passionate about. So today's sneak peek is the questions and answer session with Rick Notley from Romano. We're going to be talking about promotional items, we're going to talk about marketing, social media, branding, and so much more. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and let's take it away with Wayne, who is our host for day one, followed by the questions and answer session from Rick and myself. Take care.
Well, here we are, 2 sessions left, and we've got a fantastic session, penultimate session for you coming up. Don't forget, if you're watching this live, you're over there. If you're not watching this live, you're over there. Please do tag us on Facebook, Instagram. Apparently, I don't know. I'm still not quite sure if it should be a story, an IGTV, or whatever. I'm sure you can work it out much better than I can. On LinkedIn, on Twitter, on any other social media platform, use that hashtag GrowLive2020, GrowLive2020. Let people know what they're missing out on. So we've just confused him off camera. So if he looks a bit dazed by the next time you see him, that's why. But don't panic. We're going to a Q&A session, and this time, Mr. Gary Jones, yes, the one and only person who's put all this together, is going to interview or raise some questions with Rick Notley of Romano. I hope I've said that correctly, Nick. Apologies if I haven't. Who is a brand specialist, I suppose, brand builder. Is that what you'd like to be called?
Keep going. I'll take all of those. Yeah, keep going.
Any and all of the above. So I'm going to hand over to Gary and Rick. Enjoy your next session.
Thank you very much, Wayne. So, today, this is a session I've been really looking forward to because I interviewed Rick on the Grow Show. It was just before the world went crazy, if I remember rightly. Was that about right?
Yeah, 2 weeks before the pubs and everything locked down.
That's the one. And it was episode, I've got it right down here, episode 39. So if you haven't already checked it out, check out the Grow Show, episode 39. And do you know what? It was so cool because we spent about 15, 20 minutes beforehand chatting. Then we did the interview, and then we spent about an hour talking afterwards. It just was mental. It was brilliant. So thank you for being part of Grow Life. Absolutely spot on.
Pleasure.
How are you getting on?
Good. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've been here most of the afternoon, actually, watching as much as I can live. So, yeah, it's been really good. Enjoyed it. Yeah, judging everybody's brands, obviously. No, I'm joking.
Oh, damn straight. So for the people who don't know kind of Romano and Rick Notley, what are you all about?
Well, if you don't know who I am and what I do, then I'm not doing my job, essentially. So if you're in my circle, my job is marketing and branding. This is a rare occasion to see me in colour. Most people will recognise me from black and white photos. I have tried everything I can to do black and white zooms. I've had dry white markers on my webcam to see if I can make it look black and white. I've tried acetate over it. Everything I do is about, building that brand and that brand equity. There's a big difference between brand and branding. As have a look at the podcast. We got into that a little bit. So you will never find me not in black or not in white, and you fresh t-shirt ready for this. So yeah, always on brand, and that's what I want for everybody else. I want you guys to all be the person that someone thinks about when they need your service. And I don't want you to go and have to fight amongst Google. So that's my aim, basically.
Brilliant. So, questions and answer session today. We want your questions about social media. We want your questions and answers about marketing, just in general, branding, creating content. All of these questions we can answer. So while the questions come in, I've got a couple just to kick stuff off.
Yeah, cool.
So we've been talking a lot today about growing, first of all, growing your skills. So there's been a lot about mindset. There's been a lot about kind of developing those skills inside yourself. Where should people start in terms of improving their skills when it comes to, we need to narrow it down, let's say social media content?
So the first thing I'd say is, and I'm happy to share this, I've got a social media audit sheet and a brand audit sheet, and it's a real quick fire. A couple of you might have done it actually, but it's a PDF that you can follow to kind of just score yourself. And so this is the sort of exercise that, and it's a real quick win for everybody. Find 3 or 4 people, friends, family, that are not in business, so they don't have that commercial sort of filter, if you like, and just ask them to go on your profile. And it's even better if it's someone that doesn't know you that well, actually. Just go on there and say, oh, can you tell me what I do from my social media? And you just want those sort of fresh eyes, and you'd be amazed how many times you think, my LinkedIn profile just says director at Romano. It doesn't say what I do. It doesn't say what I do for my clients. I've got a Twitter header that was from 2006 when I complained about where my pizza was. That's the last time I used it. So you'd be amazed how much stuff is disconnected, and that's that first step to being on brand. And you just want to kind of audit yourself and go, is every photo that is out there of me as my profile picture within the last 6 to 12 months? And if it's not, someone like me and Gary's the same, it's a bit more forgiving in that your hairstyles don't change, but are you wearing the same glasses that you're wearing now so that you're recognizable? And they're little tiny nuances, but you want to be instantly recognizable in every place that you have an online little bit of real estate. So that would be my first tip. And it's always a quick win, linking your Facebook page to profile and sort of stuff like that. So that would be my first go and do that.
Love it, because the amount of times that I get recognized in different places through being online, and it's purely because I'm quite recognizable. I'm the guy with the upside down head. If I shaved my beard for about a couple of weeks, and loads of people got freaked out, so straight away it came back. To be fair, I didn't like being clean shaven. Doesn't really kind of do me, but yeah, I've got an upside down head, and my profile picture is me going like that, and that's how I am normally in meetings. So people recognize it. It builds trust because you're the same everywhere. So no, I love that tip. I think we've got a few questions. So let's have a little look. So, right, okay. So I'm going to go straight to Wayne's. He's thinking about changing his brand, and whilst he's he likes it, but he needs it updated. What would you recommend changing an established brand? So how would you go about it?
So first thing is why. It's always got to be like, what's the motivation for it? And there's a couple of reasons why someone might look to change their brand, and often it can come from frustration that they're not getting enough business, and they think, okay, maybe it's my logo that's off or my brand that isn't right. May well be the case, but that's not often the case. And it's also, is it because I put that out into the world and I was in a different place, and now I actually have a different target market and I want to appeal to a different group, or I want to sort of look a little bit different. I don't want to be the sort of self-employed now. I want to look more like an established company. So the first thing with any brand is, what do you want people to think when they see you? And that would be, the old sort of quote is, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room, and that's so true, but it's also your first impression, even when you're not the one giving it. So whether it's your website, social media, Facebook, whatever it might be, you have to sort of think, right, what do I, I've got a big, massive star on the wall. What do I want people to think when I first see that? And that's that cue for why you might want to sort of change your brand. There's loads of brands that have done it, big, small, long-standing, like real heritage brands of sort of, change sort of thing. So it's a really good and exciting time. What I would say is just have a little bit of a thought or a chat with somebody to sort of go, right, well, you don't want to rebrand every 2 years. I've seen companies do that where they're sort of chasing, thinking, this is why we're not doing what we need to do, or this is why the customers aren't coming to me. Effectively, you can make a brand whatever you want it to be. If I said to you, right, everybody write down 5 brands, I could gamble that out of a list of 10, I know which ones you probably write down. And it's
actually, while you're doing that, put it down in the chat. Let's give it a go.
Put it in the chat. What are the first 3 brands that you think of? In any sector, and they're always the same sort of thing. But when you look at them and you get into them a bit closer, very few of them are actually a brand that describes what it is they do. It's their storytelling, their message, everything that goes around it. Romano's got, there you go, love that. Someone's mentioned it.
He's a suck up, isn't he? Suck up.
Yeah, lovely. Merch on the way. But yeah, it's that sort of, you make the story. Look at Apple. They don't grow, sell, or, do anything to do with apples. And yet you instantly have a emotional attachment or feeling when you see that logo. And it's the same, look at McDonald's. you know, it's a golden M. It's got nothing to do with what they do. It's not like Burger King, which is much more obvious. You know, it's a brand. And when you go down that route, you have to make sure your message is right, and you have to make sure that you're getting in front of the right people, because your logo and your brand is doing nothing obvious. You know, gone are the days of Yell and yeah. Talking of Apple products, Siri just woke up. There we go. But yeah, so you know, when you think of like Yell and you know Yellow Pages, that's why companies were called AAA electrical, because it's like that's how we get to stand out. Now you can call yourself whatever you want, and there's some fantastic random name generators on the web for anybody starting a business, which you can have some good fun with. But yeah, it's you tell the story. You know, it's for me to tell you what I do and what I want you to think when you see that logo. And obviously that's the same for your business. So let's have a look. Here we've got Apple, Google, Coke, McDonald's, Tesla, Apple, Disney, Romano, love that. Mental Theft, clever, Grow Live. There you go. But you know, picking on Newton, he's in there. He always wears his hat. Much like my thing is always black and white. He always wears the hat. It's probably due a wash now, but we always know that he's going to have his hat on because that's part of his brand. Gary's, even when he's still frame on Zoom, is the thumbs up. That's how you start to build that up. You know, whenever I think of Duncan, I think of like calm, methodical experience. He always talks like this. He's very animated with his hat, and you know what you're going to get with him, and that is part of your brand, your speech, your language, your animation. Same with Rob. Rob's obviously got all the merch now. We know he's the sort of teenager's favourite PT. So everybody has that little part of their brand that you become familiar for. So you get to tell that story, and that's exciting. That's the best bit.
I love that. You've kind of alluded to one big point I think we covered quite a lot in the podcast, was your brand's not just your logo. It is everything. It is the way you act. It's the way you talk. It's the messages you put out, as well as the way you kind of present yourself online in terms of your graphics, in terms of your videos. Hey, your videos are black and white. Of course they would, because you're, Romano, it's black and white. And it is that last impression of what people think of you when you're not in the room. But that's not just a logo. That is just the whole ethos. So I love it, which kind of leads on to another person's question about merch and about, should they get T-shirts, hoodies, that kind of stuff for expos and events? And not just expos and events. I'm going to throw that online in terms of virtual events as well. I'm in the process of getting branded T-shirts, which is this colour, hence me wearing it today, with Grow just there. Nice and simple, but that's me. It reflects my brand, it reflects me. So what's your view on merch and branded clothing to start off with?
Yeah, no, sorry, 2 seconds now. So there you go. So you've got to have your props on hand. So, and that's the thing, is I messaged Gary sort of 5-6 minutes ago, whilst sort of Emma was finishing up, to say I was going to go make a fresh coffee for that moment, because I know there's going to be a time 3 or 4 times during a Zoom when I'm in view. I've got my T-shirt. I've got a massive thing on the wall up there. Obviously, I've already showed my notebook in one of the other talks when I had to draw a pig, because, Wayne was like getting us to draw pigs. And so Rob's got his assets, they're on hand all the time. What I would say when it comes to merch is some people are reluctant because they feel it could look almost a disconnect from their industry. They don't want to look perhaps like a tradesperson in a corporate environment. So sometimes just your colour, that you wear can be towards your brand, and that's where you are working towards that. And some people, there's lots of subtle ways that you can work it in there. I can't tell if Duncan's waving at me or if he's got a question. Go for it, mate.
So you were saying that sometimes thinking outside the box and doing something different and unexpected can be really beneficial. 14 years ago, when I first started this, I was specializing in, I targeted smokers to help people quit. That's really not my focus now. I can still do it. It's not my focus. But back then, I got a load of lighters done, printed with my logo. Fed up of this habit, want to quit, give me a call. Basically, just had my details on it. Brilliant, because people don't throw away lighters, people steal lighters, and it's one thing you can guarantee a smoker's going to have and try and keep hold of. And so every time they reach for a cigarette and think, I really don't want to do this, it's a reminder, and it's there. And then someone quits through me, and they're like, brilliant, don't need this anymore, and they hand it on to someone else who wants to quit. So, like, to turn that into a question, what what are your thoughts on, like, how can we best find a way to do something different? Because, like, yeah, okay, we're on a Zoom call, it's great to have a mug. But if we're giving gifts or it's something that we want to be held onto, like, what can we do to think differently to create opportunities for branding?
It's I think the thing is, people get hung up on, like, what's the best promo gift, or, what should I do? Forgetting that, make it about your client. What do they want? And I think that's where we sort of have this drawn almost to, we want to do this and I want to do this because people will love it. Cool. But what about your best or ideal client? What are they going to find most useful? What aren't other people sending? Like, there you go. Look at that. You've got stuff up on screen now. I love it. And I've got a whole plethora of things. And, the lighters are a great one. We did a campaign using lighters on exactly that sort of campaign, which was, quit stealing my lighter. Or quit smoking, and that's that sort of, play on words, have a little pun. One of my favorite products at the moment, I think I mentioned this on Gary's podcast, is air fresheners, because it's in people's eye lines all the time. No one says no to it. Who wants a sort of stale smelling car? So you're always going to take it. You think how many hours, okay, pre-lockdown and current situation, how many hours we would all spend in our cars and traffic, just subliminally there in your eye line all the time, that sort of subtle piece of branding. So when the timing is right. But, a big fan of guerrilla marketing. I love lumpy mail and direct mail. You can get the gatekeepers on side and send them a little sweetener to do you a favor. So, great little tip is, if you have, say, a list of 20 real high-end or top clients that you want to work with, find out who the PA is, or the person that's going to stop that package, get into that person. And what you do is you send 2 parcels or 2 boxes, effectively. One outer package, which is for the person that's going to do you the favor. So you ring that person or message them on LinkedIn and say, right, I'm going to send something. Can you put it on Gary's desk for me? I'll put something in the package for you. I'll send it to you, because I don't want the mail room to screen that and not put it on their desk. So first layer, unwrap, is another package which you want to go to your destination, and that's where you put in the sweets, coffee voucher, whatever, something for a sweetener to get your ally within the business. And then you're not waiting on a mail room or, people like that. It's there, sitting pretty on the desk. And I guarantee if you send out 20 of those and you follow them all up within 48 hours, more than half of them will have a conversation with you, just because of the ingenuity of doing it. And, where else can you get that hit rate at such a level? These are the people that will normally go 3 months, 6 months, chipping away. So, stuff like that I love. And, sort of bringing it back around to sort of Duncan's point, he's trying to think, how can you hide stuff? How can you get stuff in people's faces? Is it giving it away? Like, a good way of looking at it sometimes is, don't try to market to the person you want to work with. Work with the people who have already got those people as clients. So they might be like a perfect referral partner, and you try and incentivize them to get them on board, and then say, look, when you sell a car, do me a favor, make sure it's my air freshener that's in the wing mirror on every new car that sells, because that's my target market, for instance. So always think about the end client and then work backwards, and then make it useful. The old thing used to be own the desk. In my industry, that's whether it's a coaster, a diary, a pad, a pen, a mug, own the desk, get so many subtle things on there as you can. So hopefully.
Brilliant. Does that answer your question, Duncan?
I've just seen Paul's question, actually. Do you think it's worth me getting branded T-shirts and hoodies, etc., for when I'm
there? You go for
stage shows? Oh wait, mate! If ever you're outside your house, be on brand. That's my, and that's, you never know who's watching, looking. I wear my Romano T-shirt if I nip to the shops. I've had plenty of conversations where people have either gone, "What's Romano?" or "Oh, I've seen that," or it's just that little bit of an icebreaker sometimes, to the point that people want to know what it is. And, I would have even going as far as a setting up sort of set of merch, which almost a bit like the B&Q, I'm here to help, ask me a question. Have it on your back, because you'll have your back to people probably the majority of the time. So put something on your back that makes it easy. We did some which was, it's okay to come and talk to me. And that's all it had on the back of the T-shirt. And it was just a bit of an icebreaker. And then people were like, oh. And they did, and then they got into conversations, and that's networking, and they can do it.
I love it. There's a question about call to actions on social media posts. content posts. What's your views on call to actions? How often should a post have it?
I think I'm a firm believer in you've got to ask for the business. You know, people shy away from that. I don't know if it's a British thing or what, but you know, sometimes it's like that sort of like, this is me, come and look at this, please buy my stuff, or here it is. And, you know, we don't go for that killer asking for the business. And that's, for me, that relationship with giving away the value, then you're owed. And I try and sort of put a load of stuff out into the world and give away all my best tips for free. And then, you know, people feel a little bit of that sort of IOU. So that at that point, I go, look, I need your help. Can you share this? 40 people will do it, because they sort of think, well, actually, do you know what? All I've done is take. I should probably, you know, do something the other way. And also just be honest about why you're asking. You know, don't go for the sort of DFS sale style adverts of, you know, buy my stuff 20% off, sale ends of Monday, like woohoo. You know, we all go to that place when we need a sofa. It's not something that's going to entice me to do it. And it's, again, bring it back, make it about your client, ask for the business, and give them a reason to click or comment. A quick sort of tip, which always works really well, and in fact, Duncan on here might even give me the sort of science or whatever it is behind it. But if you say to somebody like, right, what piece of merch would you like? And a couple of you will recognize this. You know, you're asking people to A, do I want to answer that question? And then B, start thinking about stuff. But, you know, if I give you a choice and I go, right, guys, would you rather this mug or this notebook? Your question is then not, do I want to answer that question? It's, do I want the mug or the notebook? And you sort of skip past. So anybody that knows, you know, what's happening in groups on Facebook, if you ask a question whether the answer is the choice, we are not rude as a species. We feel compelled to answer and help and answer questions. So it's a really good thing. Give people a choice. You know, Rob might go, do you want to lose £2 or do you want to be able to get up the stairs without being out of breath? That's a choice. Whereas if it's like, you know, you go down just one option, people can scroll by. We can't not comment for some reason. It's just built into us. But I'm sure there's some science behind it. But all I know is it works bloody well. So
that's brilliant. So we've got time for 2 more questions. So if anyone's got any question, the last question, put it into the chat. Just before we go on to the penultimate one, where can people find you online, buddy? You know, tell us about your group, because it's absolutely kick-ass. And where can people find Romano?
Yeah, so everything online is Romano UK. So all the social media channels, all the same. I do run a free group, which is called the All In Business Network, which, you know, I pump a load of free stuff in there. Many of you are members, so thank you so much for being part of that. And that is where what I like to do is, if someone asks the question, and good on them, because I'd say less than 10% of people will ask the questions, what I like to do is answer it in there so that more people will see it. And I think some people are passive in that sense that, you know, it's something that they will benefit from. But I'm a firm believer there's no such thing as a stupid question, but a lot of people think there is, and they won't, and that stops them moving on sometimes. So, yeah, groups in that sense, I think, really key. But yeah, I'm always in black and white and always Romano.
Nice. Really quickly, tell us about the nudge. We'll do 2 more questions. Okay,
yeah. So nudge really was for those people that just want a little nudge in the right direction. So it's a daily platform, £8 a month. There's a 7-day free trial. You get an email every day with a content or social media sort of suggestion of what you should post online. And then there's also a Facebook group where I'll critique your social media and sort of help you with that. Because I firmly believe, even though I do it for other people, the best person in the world to do anybody's marketing is you guys, the business owner. Second best is obviously you doing it with a little bit of help in the right direction. So yeah, thanks for that.
I love it. Love it. And last 2 questions. Strangest item you've ever branded?
What level is this going at? Is it safe, not safe for kids? Are we good?
We can go explicit. That's fine.
Okay, that's fine. So I've done vibrators and condoms and all sorts of stuff. So waterproof testing that was key on that. So that's what I'm going to say.
So waterproof testing, brilliant. And do you wear your merch on holiday? That sounds like a bit of a cop out after the last one. But yeah, do you wear your merch on holiday?
So yes, and you know, anybody that knows my fiance, soon to be wife, is a not so massive fan of Romano bleeding into our personal life. But yes, wherever possible. And in our wedding next year, there probably will be some subtle Romano products and things within the wedding party. So watch this space for 2020's quickest divorce.
I love it, dude. Thank you. I've just realised what you said then. Well, okay, cool. So yeah, we will look out for pictures for Romano merch at the wedding and also the divorce parties. Let's just kind of bookend those perfectly. But no, cheers for your time today. Please, everyone, check out Rick's group. Check it out. Check out his branding. And thanks to him, a week before Grow Live, I had this mad idea of giving every speaker and everything a free cup with Grow Live. Didn't have time to do it this year. Next year, it will. And who am I going to go to? That man there.
Love that.
I know him, I like him, trust him, and I still want one of his mugs. So on that note, I will leave you to it, and then I'll pass it on to Wayne for the final section. But please, let's give everyone get yourself on mute, give them a clap. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. And thank you very much, Rick, for spending his time talking at Grow Live. If you want to find more info about Grow Live, the details are in the chat about how you can get involved, plus also how you can watch all of the questions and answer sessions, all of the workshops, all of the seminars, all in one place. So please check out that link. But take care, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you next time for the next edition of The Grow Show. Take care.
Thanks for listening to The Grow Show. With new shows available every week, if you know anyone else who could benefit from these powerful insights, please share this podcast with them. And don't forget to subscribe.